Are you smoking a cigarette?
Oh yes, it is very smooth and refreshing and makes me look very cool.
And since when has that been a thing? Seriously, I once watched you throw a coughing fit for 20 minutes after sniffing a dandelion.
I am simply trying to uphold the time-honored American tradition of poisoning my body with dangerous chemicals. Unfortunately, over the past several years, I've noticed a rise of people using electronic cigarettes instead of fine organic American tobacco.
Wait, are you talking about vaping? Yeah, almost everyone I know vapes now. Even I don't mind having a couple puffs now and then.
First of all, please refer to it as a drag, as puff is one of the least manly words in existence.
I thought you people were afraid of drag.
What?
Nothing, proceed.
Anyway, electronic cigarettes, also known colloquially as vapes, are simply part of the latest efforts to destroy what has historically made our country great.
I actually find them pretty convenient, to be honest. I mean, if I'm going to smoke anyway, I might as well just vape instead. Since it's the same thing, basically, only without all the extra steps and cigarette butts everywhere. I mean, they even put weed in vapes now.
I do not understand why anyone would want to smoke marijuana, especially from a puffy, un-American vape stick.
Well, I actually happen to have one of those puffy, un-American marijuana vape sticks right here, if you want to give it a shot, and see what all the fuss is about.
No thank you. I do not partake in heathen behavior.
Alright, no problem. I mean, it's not for everyone.
Please refrain from peer pressuring me.
I just said that it's okay. I mean, not everyone can be as manly as I am, so I get it. You hanging in there? Hello?
Huh?
I asked if you were doing okay. I presume that was your first time taking a hit of THC, and everyone reacts differently.
I thought that it was marijuana.
That's the active ingredient in it. They also make a bunch of synthetic versions that they pack into gummies and vapes.
Vapes are bad for you.
Weren't you just smoking a literal cigarette a few minutes ago? How's a vape any worse than that? It's basically just nicotine without all the extra chemicals and toxins and whatnot that you'd normally get from burning tobacco.
Yes, but it does not look as cool.
That probably depends on your perspective. In fact, in recent surveys, 50% of people said they wouldn't date a smoker, mostly due to the odors. So vaping is a viable alternative to those with nicotine addictions.
Another alternative could be to simply stop taking nicotine in general.
That's a fair point. I won't pretend to think that vaping isn't harmful in any capacity, and the reality is that it's so new that we don't really have any reliable studies on its long-term effects. But at the end of the day, simply quitting cold turkey isn't an option for a lot of people. Addiction is extremely powerful, and not everyone has the support systems in place to get over them.
Anyway.
Anyway?
Huh? Oh, what I meant to say was not only is vaping not American, but is destroying the tobacco industry.
Yeah, it's called the free market. Vaping is becoming more popular than smoking, and tobacco lobbyists have chosen to simply attack e-cigarette makers instead of innovating their own products. As a result, there have already been several e-cigarette bans in the United States, while cigarettes, despite being objectively worse for you, have remained virtually untouched, with the exception of the Surgeon General's warning that literally nobody pays attention to.
It is quite the unusual career move to become both a surgeon and a general. His parents must be very proud.
I'm pretty sure it's just a title given to the leading spokesman for public health initiatives.
Oh, well, that is much more boring than I was hoping.
Why do you give a damn about the tobacco industry anyway? These are the same people who spent years lying to the public about the dangers of smoking and created generations of heavy smokers who got sent to early graves at the behest of some C-suite executive's bank account.
You are using many words that I understand individually, but I am having trouble understanding them when you put them all together.
That should wear off in about an hour or two.
I think that you are underestimating the effect that the sudden wide availability and popularity of vapes could have on children.
I thought you only cared about children when they were still in the womb, or whenever a teacher puts a rainbow poster up in a classroom.
Oh no, I also pretend to care about them when they are being shackled by marriage restrictions, or are unable to work in their favorite meatpacking plants due to draconian regulations. The children yearn for the minds.
Fair enough, so what's your concern here? I'm genuinely curious, especially in your current state.
The readily availacy. Avail. Avio.
I think the word you're looking for is availability.
I wish that Ryan Reynolds had more availability.
What?
Because of the easy availableness of e-cigarettes, there is a very real fear that children could become addicted. As we all know, children are attracted to colorful, shiny things like vapes. It is possible that teenagers who normally would have never smoked a cigarette have become addicted instead to vaping, since they are easier to get.
Easier to use maybe, but not any easier to get than a normal packet of cigarettes. You can pick them up at virtually any gas station these days. However, I will admit that you don't make a terrible point.
I could really go for some toast points right now.
Okay, I don't know what that has to do with anything, but you're not wrong in that there's a real chance that more teenagers could become addicted to vaping. However, it's important to remember that this is a relatively new phenomenon, and it's trendy and in vogue, so of course teenagers are doing it. Go back in time 60 years, and there's a good chance that every single teenager was smoking cigarettes at one point too. I'm not saying you're wrong, but at the end of the day, it's up to parents to teach responsibility, and for individuals themselves to make their own choices.
I am only capable of traveling through time at regular speed and usually only forward.
Okay, maybe this whole weed vape thing wasn't the best idea.
Indeed, as they are extremely dangerous and known to explode.
That's extraordinarily rare, and besides, you literally have to light an actual fire in order to get a traditional cigarette going. Villains in movies don't throw vapes into oil slicks in order to set off cool explosions.
Well, what about the weed vapes? Are you not concerned that marijuana is now more readily, I think available is the word, but I am honestly uncertain.
I'd be more concerned with teenagers buying weed in back alleys and behind restaurant parking lots from sketchy drug dealers. Again, weed has been around forever and will be around forever, so at least in this form, it's safer to buy.
Oh, so you don't want to ban marijuana because people will get it anyway, but you do want to ban assault rifles. That is very hypocritical of you.
A weed vape can't murder school kids en masse. Look, I think your aversion to vaping is less about the health risks or your fear of addicting children to nicotine and more about your fear of a changing world. Vaping could very well replace cigarettes, and if I've learned anything over the past few years, it's that some people, yourself included, are absolutely terrified of shifting paradigms.
60 years ago, a pair of dimes could have purchased 2 sodas.
Alright, we may be done here.
Do you think that Taco Bell is still open?
It's only 3 in the afternoon.